This can only mean one thing. I'm on holiday. Yes, welcome back to Riviera RC, and something you may remember from last year. I'm in exactly the same room that I did the A110 with Renault, which still needs to be finished. But yeah, I'm on holiday, and we come away to get away from everything. Doesn't matter what we do. Basically, we are doing absolutely nothing. And today is our first full day here. And I'm looking outside, and the sun is actually starting to shine. It's been absolutely throwing it down all morning. But I brought the M03 with me. So, yes, I have started it slightly. Let's get it out. I've got the arches and the sill step done. That is all done. Now, when I haven't been on the gin so much, the grill will be done next, and that will be masked up already, because the next stage, obviously black, the next lighter is the blue. What I wanted to do was do a video about the paint, because 2 secs, bear with me. Now, no, that isn't going to work. Yeah, here you go. So, let that zoom in, and this is an old can. You notice it's all black. This is a new can. That is a brown label. And people are saying that between the black label and the brown label, there is a difference in the formulation of these paints, and it's making a difference when you apply it. So I went to the model shop, and they still had the older paints in stock. So doing the blue isn't going to help. And I haven't got an old kit can of PS12. So what I'm going to do, when I get back off my holiday, I'm going to go and have a look at what I've got at home with the black labels on, and buy one with a brown label on, and try and do a comparison video. So that is another future video that I will be doing. Yeah, so the blue needs to be done soon. And once the blue is done, we'll peel the grill off once we've done that. That'll be the silver, and the last thing that will be done will be the white. As always, you know, you've got to take your time. I washed the body before I did the black. I have been over this body. I've got some Carson paint killer and some of the little earbuds. I say they're earbuds, but they say you're not supposed to put anything smaller than your elbow in your ear. Well, that's what I heard anyway. They're cotton buds, not earbuds. So yes, I've used these with the Carson paint killer because I did have a little bit on this corner lift up and the black went over. But other than that, it hasn't gone too bad. So that's the black bits done. I'm kind of thinking, apparently Wednesday and Thursday here is supposed to be better, so I'm probably going to spray the body then, but I will mask this up. So I think we now get to the building. Well, it's another day. So I've got this far on the chassis, but the weather outside has picked up. So I am going to, as it's still sunny and apparently it's supposed to be good weather until tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to quickly mask off the grill, and we will get the PS4 blue, I think it is, and we shall get the paint on while it's nice. So then later on, hopefully, we can crack on with the chassis. I mean, it's not going to take very long to do it. There ain't that much to do with it, to be fair. So yeah, right. Let's mask her up. So a bit of workbench waffle. Minis. Since I started driving, which is back in 1991, that's when I passed my test. All that has featured, well, no, but not all that has featured, but a lot of the cars that have featured have been uh, minis or mini based. And I'll get onto that in a minute. I probably will do another video, to be fair, because I haven't got any photos with me at the moment. Or could I? I'll get back to that. You'll see in a minute if I do or I don't. Um, I started out driving in a slightly modified, just a 1974 Mini 1000. So it was a 998cc that was completely de-seamed and had a steel flip front made out of two wings, front panel, and the bonnet. That then, when I had a little bit of extra money, I had a friend of mine who was into bodywork and painting, and he, I'm going to have to try and find the photos and see whether I can put them into this video. He took it upon himself. Well, he didn't take it upon himself. I came up with the idea, and he was like, I could do that. And yeah, so I ended up with a 1974 Mini 1000 with a 4-inch roof chop that was totally de-seamed. Excuse me, I'm trying to find the light. Yeah, so it was totally de-seamed. So, like on here, you have the seams where the panels were welded together. What they'd have to do is go in behind, weld it. Once they'd welded it in behind the seams, so let me get closer. If you don't know what de-seaming means, so on a Mini, you would have this, the A panel, and it would have a flange that came out. The wing had another flange that came out. They would be spot welded up on the flange. And then there would be a cover going over the top, the roof here. So basically, you'd have to strip everything inside the car and weld everything up inside. And once it was all completely welded on the inside, then you could take a grinder to the outside and grind off all of the seams. So you'd have the ones on the back, grind up inside the boot lid, inside the boot space, up inside here, and then all the way down the pillars. Or another way they would do it was they would literally cut off 2 or 3 inches, cut it off, and then weld it, then tap it back, then weld it and grind it. And they would do that over all of the seams. It was a laborious job, but it looked smart. And back in the 90s, it was kind of all the rage, if you like. And the front end, I had a steel front end, which was the bonnet, welded to the 2 wings and the front panel. And it had hinges here and then straps across where the seams would be. So you undo those and lift the whole front end up. If I've managed. Yeah, so after the roof chop saloon Mini, I've had various, and it was 1991. A good family friend, extremely good family friend, bless him. He was like a grandfather to me, and yeah, he obviously he knew I love minis. I would take him while he was in his retirement home. I'd take him and his dog out and about every Saturday. If I wasn't working, we'd be out and about around the local area. And for wasn't even a special birthday. So 91, I would have been yeah, 20. I don't know why he bought it for me then, but I suppose it was because it was available. It was a. He took me to this garage one day. We just pulled up outside. He was driving, and I mean, back then, talking of classic cars, he had a Mark One Escort estate. It was in a right state, but if you had it now, it'd be worth a frigging mint. And we just pulled up outside this Jaguar garage, and I was like, "What the? Why? What? Hey?" We went inside, and under this cover was a Mark II, just Mark II, 1968 Mini Cooper, 998 cc's, but it was the Cooper, not the S. It was the Cooper. Old English white. No, I lie. Snowberry white, which was a brighter white than the Old English white, because the Old English white was a little bit cream. This was a Snowberry white, which was quite bright, with a black roof, mini light wheels, and it was an absolute beast. And it was mine. And it's just, it was just, I was scared to drive it. But once I started driving it, it was just a stunning car. And I still have that to this day. It's unfortunately at the moment in a shed in my garden, waiting for me to build a garage. A lot of the other bits and pieces are in boxes because I I had a friend of mine who was into classic. Well, no, his business was classic car restoration, but he was into the Triumphs until his son-in-law bought a Mini, and he went into that. And he's done some absolutely beautiful specimens. And I was just like, right, if and when I get the Cooper restored, he is doing it. I hope I'm not waffling too much for those of you who are into just the RC, but this is the history of me and Minis. Um, so yeah, he took it on. He moved to France. He took the Mini with him. It's just been a long road. He took the Mini with him, but while he was there, he had Jeeps to make. He had other plans and whatever. So the Mini was sat in his workshop, and he didn't do a lot to it apart from replace all the panels. He had shot blasted the whole thing, and it came back like a colander. It was a complete mess, but it's had new inner and outer A panels, new wings, new front panel, new sills, inner and outer, floor pans. When they went through the back end, the previous gentleman that owned it before me used to do hill climbing in it, and he had lost it on a bend and smashed in the rear end. So when it was all completely and utterly sandblasted, it needed new valance, new boot floor, new boot lid, the rear panel from the windows down, that needed to be replaced. So it's had all the panels that were holy and had any rust on them. And at the moment, the shell is complete and it's in my shed, along with boxes of boxes and boxes of bits. So that's the Cooper. I also had, which was an absolute, I don't know, I bought it. It was an automatic 1275cc mini pickup, deseamed, 4-inch roof top, custom paint, supercharged. It was just ridiculous, but it was an absolute beast, and I took that all over the place. It went into for those of you that might know minis, which I know a few of you do because you've commented on another thing, the Mini World magazine that used to do the Mini World show. And I drove that thing from Torquay to Sandown Racecourse. There were so many issues on the way up and on the way back, but it got in there and I think it was first place for custom, got a cup and everything at home somewhere. And yeah, so that was that one. Many derivatives. I've owned, well, I owned a Mini Clubman, which was my mum's originally, which was the one with the square front, which L&L models do a body like this with the squared off Clubman, which I'm seriously thinking about getting to put on something. I also owned 3 Mini Jiffy pickup stroke campers stroke. They were basically a kit car, which was mini based, made by Indispension, who, those of you in the UK, Indispension make trailers. So they used their trailer technology for the back end and made it into this quirky little pickup, which at the time it came out alongside the Honda Acti when they were just announced, and the Indispension Jiffy pickup was better, apparently. Fiberglass cab, flip up front. I'm going to have to do, if I can figure out how to download the photos and do a montage, I'll do it towards the end of this video. So that'll keep you watching, won't it? Right, what else have I owned mini-wise? I owned a minivan at some point, sold that for stupid amounts of, when I say stupid amounts, I mean stupid low amounts, because they're worth silly money now. And I think I sold mine for about 300 quid. And all it needed was a little bit of welding on the guttering here, because these bits on the corner of the roofs had a little tiny hole that would allow the water out, and if that blocked up, you'd end up with water up here. And I had one, the van, the bodywork was absolutely brilliant, apart from a little tiny hole on the driver's side. And I sold that van for 300 quid. I mean, bonkers now, because they're going for thousands. But anyway, right. I suppose I'd better cut this out for the grill and get this sprayed. Otherwise, I'm going to get too drunk on the gin. I'm on holiday. I'm allowed to, aren't I? I'm on holiday. Look at this, look. Oh, absolutely beautiful sun. So it's nice and warm, which is good. Excuse me, let me clean that off, that's better. Yeah, so it's sunny. It's sat here, it's a bloody sun trap. I'm at the back of the, hang on, let me, so this is the back of the area of where I am. Table. I let the dogs out here. And yeah, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to spray the body. Let's have. Ooh. Did you hear that chink? That chink is a great spotted woodpecker, which is probably up there in the trees. Sorry, I'm a bit of an ornithologist at heart as well as an aviation photographer, which this is on the flight path from Bristol Airport, so I'm kind of in my element. But yeah, so somewhere up in that tree is a great spotted woodpecker I just heard. Anyway, let's get back to RC. So there you go, a thin coat of the PS4, which is the, there you go, the Tamiya Blue. Now there is a mug there with hot water in it, and before I do it again, I'll probably do another what, 4 or 5 coats. Got the grill mast up there. I did think about like the fuel filler and the lights and everything, but they go on the outside, so we should be fine. The roof is obviously done. Yeah. Do you know what? I love holidays where I can do whatever I want. And I don't know if a lot of you have a wife that is quite tolerant of your hobby, but yeah, I think I am very lucky, and I know that a few of you will be as well, with your wives who tolerate whatever you're doing and will be able to come away on a holiday and bring a kit with you. I mean, as we speak, I think she's in there watching Game of Thrones. So she's inside and I'm enjoying all of this. The weather forecast says tomorrow is going to be utterly shocking, but, you know, make the most of it. Yeah, I waffle quite a lot. The sun, more gin, more sun, more gin. Meant for a few really, really waffly, drunken videos of me spraying the body and just talking utter bilge. I think I've got 15 other snippets. No, I'm not putting any of them in, but the body is done. So we have the grill. The only thing I do notice now that obviously I'm sober, got a bit of blue on there. So we can do, it's obviously crept in underneath. So before I do anything more, I am going to get, I hope I don't completely screw it, cast painkiller, the Q-tip cotton buds. I'm just going to try and get that blue off. And then the weather is supposed to be better tomorrow, which means I can just spray in the roof again, white. Hopefully. Well, that was painless. It's taken a few little minutes of gentle rubbing with the bud, and the large bit of blue's gone. I've got another couple of little bits on the back there, but nothing major, and I can put up with that. Yeah. So I am probably, because I've waffled a lot about minis, I'm going to go and download a load of photos now and put them together to end this video. So there will be a part 2 with less waffle and more building. Right, let's get these photos sorted. Yeah, here we go. You'll have to excuse this. It's not the best video capture, but so this was my first mini. As you can see, it's de-seamed on the front and rear. You can see the flip front with the little brackets on. So this was the 1974 one. I then had it converted and roof chopped, and it's not the yellow one. The yellow one was I live in Torquay, and that was a custom car feature car, and I saw him driving around, so I thought I would follow him, and he parked up, and I have somewhere, I don't know where, got an absolute shed load of photos of us all together, or both together. So mine is the blue one with all the picked out white lining. As you can see, the roof is completely de-seamed, absolutely everything. In fact, both of them are. We have next my roof chop mini pickup, which I talked about. So this has the metal flake paintwork. It has a bulge in the bonnet for the supercharger, and the supercharger wasn't fitted correctly, whoever built it, because the supercharger should be at the back of the engine. But as you can see, it was chrome and red, and this is the one that I went to the National Mini World Show, and I do have a cup for it somewhere.
the rear bed of it. Absolutely done out lovely, all varnished, and you can just about make out the sparkly on the paint, which was the metal flake. Had BMC, British Motor Corporation, put in the back as well. Straight through exhaust, apart from that little tiny back box there, and it was very noisy. So this is my pride and joy, my 1968 Mini Cooper, which I still have, although at the moment it is a shell, and we will come to that. There's a lovely young me not long after I bought it, with the reverse rims on, and yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna have to get the garage sorted so I can get this one back on the road. That is kind of the state it is in at the moment. This wasn't long after it had been, all the panels had been replaced that were required, and it had basically been completely shot blasted, all new panels put on, and at the moment it is in just primer. So that is basically a massive jigsaw that I have to sort out in the near future. Well, in the future. Right, so this was another fun vehicle, of which I had 3. It's mini based, it's a kind of kit car, but you could buy them ready made, and it is in suspension mini pickup. Although I say pickup, there were various options. In fact, some people had them as milk floats, there was Luton lorries, there was even a hydraulic tipper, and I went all out because I used to do extreme sports when I had the energy. So that on the back is called a dirt surfer, which is basically, it's like a bike but you stand up on it, and I used to use that with my kite on the beaches. So yeah, this used to lug around all my stuff. And here we go. These are the three, there's a Lada Niva in the background, so I've still got that one. Yeah, so the 3 Jiffies sat here. You've got that orange one, which is the pickup, and then you've got 2 Roma Home campers, one of which I sold to my ex's brother, and the other one reluctantly went a few years ago before I moved into this house. So yeah, there you go. And this is me. I then decided, well, I didn't like the orange anymore. So I decided to take a bit of a Mickey take, made it into a box lorry. And some of you will already begin to know what that is going to turn out as. Yep, I turned it into a little mini Eddie Stobart truck. And there it is next to another friend of mine who, that is one of the hydraulic tippers. So there you go, that's just a quick overview of the minis that I've had in my life. So yeah, thank you for watching, and as I said, the final bit of the M03 build will be in probably a couple of weeks' time. So yeah, thank you very much guys, take care, speak to you soon, cheers, bye bye.